When we talk about March 2020, Mohammed Waqas Khan, living in Watford, England, appeared to his neighbours as merely a successful businessman who resided abroad. He was prosperous, wealthy, and occasionally visited to meet his family. But what people didn't know was that Khan was operating one of the largest organised criminal networks in eastern England. Based in Dubai, he was managing the smuggling of hundreds of kilograms of contraband material into Luton and Watford. And now he was about to make a mistake that would turn his entire world upside down. Because at this time, in March 2020, European law enforcement agencies were launching Operation Venetic, the largest coordinated operation in history against encrypted criminal communications. They had cracked EncroChat, the encrypted phone system that thousands of criminals across Europe were using, and that was considered unbreakable. Khan's EncroChat handle, bigpabito.com, was about to expose his entire operation. Within weeks, police would read every message he sent. Then, they would conduct simultaneous raids at multiple locations where 68 kilograms of Class A drugs, 6 firearms, 180 rounds of ammunition, and large amounts of cash would be recovered. This is the story of how a Dubai-based coordinator built a sophisticated trafficking network. How he used Netherlands connections to smuggle through one of Britain's busiest ports. And how the decision to return home during COVID lockdown brought him face to face with the police who had been searching for him for years. To understand Khan's network, it's essential to first understand EncroChat. This wasn't just encrypted messaging, but a complete infrastructure for criminals. These phones were specially modified Android devices with normal features removed. No GPS, no camera, no regular apps, just the EncroChat messaging system. Each device cost £1,500 with an annual subscription of £1,500 as well. This system had features that were perfect for criminals. First was end-to-end encryption. Messages were encrypted on the sender's device and only decrypted on the receiver's device. No server could read the content. Second was self-destruct timers, where messages would automatically delete themselves. The remote wipe feature meant that if police seized the phone, everything could be erased with one command. For panic wipe, there was a special PIN code that would immediately clear the device when entered under pressure. For years, EncroChat was considered unbreakable. Law enforcement couldn't attack it. Messages couldn't be intercepted, and identifying users was impossible. Criminals across Europe used it with confidence. Traffickers, money launderers, arms dealers, organized crime groups all. Mohammed Waqas Khan was also running his entire operation from Dubai through this system. His handle was bigpabito.com, and through this he coordinated everything. Orders to Michael Orchestrated in Netherlands. Need 50 kilograms for next shipment. Use Rotterdam route. Detailed instructions to couriers. Collect from Tilbury on Wednesday. Deliver to Luton warehouse by Friday. Messages to storekeepers. Move goods from Ahmed's location. Too risky. Use backup address. When police activity increased, warnings went out. Checkpoints on M1. Use A roads. Split load across 3 vehicles. Financial matters. Payment confirmed. £200,000 transferred. Next delivery approved. Everything documented. Everything coordinated. All through EncroChat. Khan was certain it was completely secure. Everyone thought so. But in early 2020, French and Dutch authorities accomplished something remarkable. They didn't crack the encryption, but did something smarter. They penetrated the servers themselves. Suddenly, every EncroChat message was being copied to law enforcement databases. Michael Orchestrated, 31 years old, living in Ashford, Kent, was Khan's primary importer. He had connections in Netherlands, specifically in Rotterdam, with people who could provide large quantities of material from South American sources. The import route worked like this. The first step was the source in Netherlands. Orchestrated Rotterdam contacts had access to shipments arriving from South America. Containers, cargo vessels, goods hidden among legitimate items. Netherlands is a major European entry point. Rotterdam is one of the world's largest ports, where thousands of containers arrive daily, perfect for smuggling. The second step was Tilbury docks. This is Britain's largest containerized freight port. Located on the Thames, 25 miles east of London. It handles over 16 million tons of cargo annually. Orchestrated arranged for containers to be shipped from Rotterdam to Tilbury. On paper, these were legitimate freight, commercial goods, proper documentation. In reality, hidden compartments contained smuggled material. At Tilbury, containers would mix with legitimate cargo. Customs couldn't physically check every container. Too much volume, insufficient staff. Orchestrated had a system through which even flagged containers passed inspection. Shipping during high-volume periods when inspection rates were lower. Using containers where legitimate cargo would hide weight discrepancies. Perfect paperwork with no obvious red flags. Possibly some contacts among port workers who helped facilitate smooth passage. The third step was collection from Tilbury. Once containers cleared customs, collection was necessary. This required legitimate commercial vehicles, vans with company logos, drivers with proper licenses, documentation showing authorized collection. The operation used couriers who appeared to be normal freight handlers. The fourth step was distribution from Tilbury to Luton and Watford. Material was moved to storage locations. Mohammed Ahmed's Endale Road, Luton address, served as the primary stash house. Kilograms of material, 6 firearms and ammunition were kept there. Mohammed Waqas Khan's Dunstable Road, Luton location, was another storage point. The network used multiple addresses, so everything wasn't kept in one place. If police raided one location, other places remained operational. The fifth step was further distribution from Luton and Watford warehouses. From here, material was transported to street-level dealers across eastern England. Couriers like Aftab Ayub would transport smaller quantities. He was stopped on M1 with 20 kilograms, likely heading to a regional distributor. This operation moved hundreds of kilograms from January to April 2020. Police estimated that possibly thousands of kilograms were smuggled during the network's entire operational duration. EncroChat messages revealed the scale. BigPabito.com had confirmed 200 kilograms Rotterdam shipment, Tilbury arrival Tuesday. Orchestrated will arrange collection, will reach Luton by Thursday. The plan was, divide into 3 locations. Ahmed takes 80 kilograms, Waqas 70 kilograms, backup warehouse 50 kilograms. Everything was documented in messages that Khan thought were secure. But while Khan was coordinating from Dubai and Orchestrated was arranging shipments from Netherlands, Operation Venetic investigators were reading every word and planning simultaneous strikes. In March 2020, the world was changing rapidly. COVID-19 was spreading across Europe. Lockdowns were being implemented in countries. Restrictions were coming on international travel. Khan faced a decision: stay in Dubai or return to UK before borders closed completely. He decided to return. Family concerns, some business matters that needed personal attention, and the fear of being trapped in Dubai. He caught a flight to London and reached his home at Princess Avenue, Watford. This was the worst mistake because Khan's greatest protection was distance. As long as he stayed in Dubai, UK police couldn't easily arrest him. Extradition from UAE is a complicated process. Diplomatic issues, legal barriers, time-consuming. But now he was in Watford, within UK jurisdiction, within reach. and Operation Venetic was about to go live. In March and April 2020, French and Dutch authorities shared EncroChat data with UK agencies. The Eastern Region Special Operations Unit, ERSOU, received thousands of messages from bigpabito.com. Analysts began reading and building a picture of Khan's network. They identified Michael Orishidar as primary importer, Aris Sagir as Khan's lieutenant in UK, Mohammed Ahmed as storekeeper with firearms, Mohammed Shergal Khan as courier and storekeeper, Aftab Ayub as courier, Zakir Fared as another courier. They mapped the entire operation, from Netherlands source to Tilbury docks, from there to Luton and Watford storage, then regional distribution. They tracked shipments through messages, specific dates, quantities, locations, payment amounts. They built evidence, conspiracy to supply, firearms possession, money laundering. Simultaneous raids were planned with Hertfordshire Constabulary and Bedfordshire Police. The operation was scheduled for April 2020. Khan had no idea. He was at his Watford home, communicating on EncroChat, still believing it was secure, still coordinating shipments. And police were reading every message in real time. Understanding the sophistication of the Tilbury import system is crucial. Tilbury handles 16 million tons annually, approximately 1.6 million containers. Customs can perhaps physically inspect 5 to 10% of containers. The rest pass through scans or documentation review. Orishidar exploited this volume. Container selection was smart. He didn't send empty containers or obviously suspicious cargo. Rather, containers with legitimate cargo whose weight matched the claim. For example, container manifest would state industrial equipment 15 tons. Actual contents 14 tons industrial equipment plus 50 kilograms contraband hidden inside machinery. Weight roughly matched. Contents roughly matched. Documentation perfect. There were references to hiding methods in EncroChat messages. In machine method, product was hidden inside legitimate machinery. Industrial equipment with hollow sections. The machinery actually worked, creating an illusion of genuineness. In pallet method, pallets were built with false bottoms. Product sealed inside, regular goods stacked on top. In container wall method, modified containers were built with false walls. Timing was also strategic. Orishidar coordinated arrivals during high-volume periods. Monday mornings when weekend cargo was clearing. Month-end when commercial shipments were heavy. Customs officers under pressure would process quickly, less time for detailed inspection. Collection protocol had to appear completely legitimate. Commercial freight companies were used. Sometimes legitimate companies unwittingly hired. Sometimes shell companies created specifically for this purpose. Driver would arrive with proper documentation, in commercial vehicle with company logo, electronic authorization on tablet. Container would be loaded onto truck and taken to a legitimate-looking commercial unit, where product would be extracted, repacked, and prepared for distribution. In April 2020, Aftab Ayub, 34 years old, was driving north on M1 motorway. His vehicle contained 20 kilograms of material. This wasn't a major shipment, just a routine courier run. But ERSOU had read his EncroChat messages. They knew he was on M1 and approximately what he was carrying. Traffic stop, routine check, or so it appeared. Officers asked for license and registration, standard procedure. Then they requested permission to search the vehicle. Ayub realized he was caught. 20 kilograms, there could be no explanation. Immediate arrest. Vehicle and material seized. But what Ayub didn't know, this wasn't a random stop. It was part of a coordinated operation. While he was being arrested on M1, other teams were preparing for raids at multiple addresses. ERSOU wasn't just catching one courier. The entire network was being taken down simultaneously. That day, while Aftab Ayoub was arrested on M1, armed police teams struck at several locations in Luton and Watford. Dunstable Road, Luton. Mohammed Waqas Khan's address. Officers breached the door at 6 a.m. Khan was inside, not alone, waiting to meet another dealer. He had 23 kilograms of Class A substances, plus 25 kilograms of MDMA, wholesale quantity. Khan arrested, everything seized. Endale Road, Luton. Mohammed Ahmed's address, which was the firearms stash house. Officers found 6 semi-automatic handguns, 180 rounds of ammunition, several kilograms of product. Ahmed kept weapons for 2 purposes: to sell to other criminal organizations and for network protection. Ahmed arrested, everything seized. Princess Avenue, Watford. Mohammed Waqas Khan, the boss, the coordinator, the person who was running everything from Dubai, but made the mistake of returning during COVID lockdown. Officers found him at home. He was using his EncroChat phone when they arrived. He saw police, tried to wipe the device. Too late. Even if he had succeeded, police already had months of messages from compromised servers. Khan arrested, phone seized. At other addresses, Aris Sajir, Khan's lieutenant, arrested from Kenilworth Road, Luton. Zakir Fared, arrested from Griffin Court, Luton. Within hours, the entire network was in custody. Total seizures: 68 kilograms of Class A substances, 6 firearms, 180 rounds of ammunition, large amounts of cash, multiple EncroChat devices, documents and financial records. The operation was completely dismantled. But the evidence from EncroChat was so overwhelming that what happened next in court was almost anticlimactic. Because when prosecutors presented those messages, there was no defense that could work. From November 2022 to April 2024, trials proceeded for network members. The EncroChat evidence was devastating. Mohammed Waqas Khan, in November 2022, caught with 23 kilograms plus 25 kilograms MDMA, sentenced to 10.5 years. Mohammed Ahmed, in November 2022, caught with 6 firearms and ammunition, sentenced to 13.5 years. Ayoub, in November 2022, stopped on M1 with 20 kilograms, sentenced to 8 years. Michael Orishadar, in April 2024, the Netherlands connection, sentenced to 24 years. Mohammed Waqas Khan, in April 2024, the BigPabito.com handle holder, exposed through thousands of messages, sentenced to 27.5 years. Total sentences: 83.5 years. If you found this story of Operation Venetic and the fall of Mohammed Waqas Khan's criminal empire fascinating, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more incredible true crime stories. We dive deep into the world of organized crime, law enforcement operations, and the technology that's changing how criminals are caught. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our next investigation. What other criminal networks would you like us to cover? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, no encryption is truly unbreakable when law enforcement agencies work together. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.